the NFC North nickel package, right, Spenny?
Correct.
Right, Spenny?
First question of the NFC North nickel package. What team in the division has improved the most?
It's funny to me because I think on surface, if you look at needs, if you just stop it with needs and addressing needs, parlayed with what they already have, I think it would have to be the Lions, right, on paper. Now, I know that's not like the sexy pick, and that's not what a lot of people would say, right, because that's just common sense, and common sense never sells. Like, over-the-top bullshit sells. So some people would say, well, the Chicago Bears, because they got Caleb Williams. You know, they also had 4 picks, and one of them they used to take a punter. So, you know, like for me, I think pound for pound in terms of addressing needs and improving the most, because what's the hardest thing to improve? Playoff division championship to a Super Bowl winner. So I would think if you're going on the value system, I would say it's the Lions. But I know people are just going to say Green Bay because that's what they do.
No, I'm actually going to go with the Lions as well. And for the record, I think the Packers, Bears, and Vikings all improved to some extent. However, last season, there was a lot of question marks on that defensive line, especially when Aleem McNeil was out. You brought in DJ Reader. You brought in a bookend edge rusher who's had some success in Marcus Davenport. You've at least attempted to revamp your secondary. Give yourselves more, I would say, cracks at it just in case some guys go down. You brought in Amik Robertson. You drafted Terrion Arnold and Ennis Rakestraw. And also, I think you upgraded at guard for cheaper. So those are all of the moves, amongst others. I might be forgetting about some, but those are the big moves that I think will be a huge difference in this team. I could see this team just going off of the defensive moves being a top 15 scoring defense this year. And if they're that, that's one of the only things that's missing. So I'm going to go with the Lions as well, just based off of what they've already done. And I think what they did in free agency in particular, and even drafting secondary, was borderline brilliant.
Interesting reaction from the chat. Real cream of wheat, Bears, Andrew Jones. Thanks, man, after your Hall of Fame baseball career. Thanks for checking out Big D Energy. Hard to say. On paper, the Bears. Dad with Tourette's. Packers or Bears. So the Bears are getting a lot of love. But again, you know, I'm not a huge Roma Dunze guy the way that everybody else is. And it's funny because we crush the Pac-12 around here, right? It's like a rite of passage with Midwest football fans. But the Bears get 2 dudes out of the Pac-12 and they're like saved. I'll believe it when I see it.
I mean, there were arguably the 2 best players in the Pac-12 last year. So, and I think, you know, let's move on because there's another question in which we're going to address those 2 guys exactly.
All right, yeah, let's do it.
All right, next question of the NFC North nickel package. Is Justin Jefferson's contract the number 1 priority for the Vikings?
I think so, man, because, like, what else you going to do? He's got all the power. All the power, because he can just not sign and walk.
Yeah, the Justin Jefferson situation is tough because, it's hard to be a fan of somebody who plays in your division, but I respect his game a lot. He's had the greatest 4-year start to occur any wide receiver has ever had. If he has a couple more dominant years, he could be a 6-season NFL Hall of Famer. So respect to that. And I think he's one of the major reasons why I would say J.J. McCarthy has a optimal situation, or a more optimal than most situation coming in as a rookie. However, the Vikings, despite all of that, not his fault, haven't won a damn thing. His quarterback he's gotten all of his success with is no longer there, and they're kind of starting over with a rookie in J.J. McCarthy. Not the most ideal situation for a superstar wide receiver. And furthermore, those Ferrari wide receivers, and I love Justin Jefferson, I love a lot of them. A lot of the times, are they really the difference between a Super Bowl and not? I mean, I can give you an example. Terrell Owens never won a Super Bowl. Again, not his fault. Randy Moss never won a Super Bowl. The Patriots won 6 without him and 0 with him. Antonio Brown, the Steelers won 2 Super Bowls before him and none with him. Not his fault. The defenses, I think, were better, led by guys like, Troy Polamalu and James Harrison, Joey Porter, Alan Faneca, offensive line, and all of that. And Calvin Johnson, let's get it closest to home. Calvin Johnson never won anything with the Lions, and it wasn't his fault. Look at the classes that were drafted after years in which the Lions made the playoffs. That will give you a clue into why Calvin Johnson never won anything here. It's just, there's so many other pieces that I think are usually more important and more pivotal to a Super Bowl team than that superstar Ferrari receiver. Don't get me wrong.
Then you got to trade him.
Maybe you do.
Like, this is as real as it gets for them. This is a seminal moment for their franchise.
Yeah.
Because either you're giving him $35 million a year, because it's been made apparent he will hold out for every single dollar that he can get. And I don't blame him. Like, this is the contract that sets you free in your life for generations. I don't blame him. The NFL, man, I'll never begrudge somebody that's trying to juice every single dollar they can get. But the Minnesota Vikings have to make a decision. Mm-hmm. Either you are doing this with him and you're going forward, or you have to trade him because he can walk.
Yeah, and for the record, I'm not disrespecting Justin Jefferson or anything. All of the guys that I just mentioned, I love every single one of them. Calvin Johnson's one of my favorite football players of all time. It's just, I'm looking at past history, and I'm looking at, is this Vikings team ever going to win a Super Bowl with Justin Jefferson? It's to be said, but with him being as great as he's been, the Vikings have not put a team around him or constructed a team that could win a Super Bowl while he was here. Could win a playoff game, for that matter. They won a fluke division, and that's about it.
Woodward Sports chat poll. What is more likely to explode, Jamison Williams next season or Sam Flannel's neck vein?
Oh, that's a good one.
So make sure you jump in. Make sure you jump into that.
Definitely the neck vein.
Danny G. Amon-Ra does it all and is not an asshole. He's exactly what you need at wide receiver. Tell the Vikings fans that, because they disagreed with me when I said it. But when Danny says it, it's okay. The Vikings fans probably won't get mad. But when I say it, they bring out the torches and come after me on social media. But I don't care because Twitter's not a real place. All right, let's go.
Danny G. Shout out Danny G. Said, Spenny, that's flawed question because if JMO explodes, Flannel's neck vein will as well.
Nice. That's the best comment that we're going to get today because it's true. Remember the watch party in the game against Tampa Bay when JMO put that game away and Sam Flannel had that look on his face where he was like, he was mad. Yeah, he was mad about it.
I wasn't mad. Probably the same as you guys whenever Aiden Hutchinson got a sack.
I'm fan of it.
No, I'm talking these two.
I don't hate Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah, I don't. I know. I want more.
I just want him to be elite. That's all. He's great right now. He needs to be elite.
There you go. Absolutely.
All right, next question of the NFC North nickel package. The Athletic says the Bears had the best draft, and they are true challengers to the Packers and Lions this year. Are you agreeing with that?
Well, yeah, they got a punter. You know, they took a fourth round pick, used a punter. There's no doubt in my mind that the Bears planted their flag. They got a franchise quarterback and a franchise punter in the same draft. You will go back in the annals of NFL history and probably view this Bears draft in much the same that was a 72 draft from the Steelers where they took 4 Hall of Famers. It will probably be along the same line. They are true challengers. They have arrived. The Chicago Bears, Mike Ditka, the mid-'80s, bring Super Bowl shuffle in Chicago. There's no question in my mind. You take a punter in the 4th round, you are to be celebrated.
He was the last piece.
You are here. The Chicago Bears are on our doorstep. And Lions fans, I want you to get comfortable being uncomfortable with the Chicago Bears in this division. Clearly with their 4th round kick that was a punter, or 4th round pick that was a punter, clearly they are a force in this division.
Well, okay. Now that that's out of the way, it has a chance to be a great draft. It all depends on Caleb Williams, obviously. If Caleb Williams is that franchise quarterback, if he's that Pro Bowl, All-Pro type, which you expect your number 1 overall quarterback to be, then it was a great draft. And you also pair him with your fellow rookie contract pass catcher to add to a pass catching room that has a lot of really, really good veterans. And they addressed the offensive line, a guy who can play both guard and tackle, and I think Austin Booker in the 5th round was actually a pretty damn good pick, given for his value, although if I were them, I would have addressed the edge position a little bit sooner. The punter thing, I don't necessarily agree with, but here's the one thing that I will say. I'm not justifying it. Torrey Taylor's the best college punter I've ever seen. You wanted to draft Jake Moody last year in the 3rd round. I'm just saying. Torrey Taylor made it possible so that Iowa won football games. I know it was kind of a really stupid slogan and everything, but however, Torrey Taylor would flip field position and let the defense led by guys like Jack Campbell, Cooper DeJean, and Lucas Van Ness just eat because they had no offense, obviously. Not justifying it. I'm just saying he is the best college punter I've ever seen.
Jack Fox, move over.
Yeah.
Not saying Jack Fox.
There's a new sheriff in town at the punter position in the NFL. And he resides in Chicago.
Damn right.
I mean, maybe they want to create their own Jack Fox. Again, I don't necessarily agree with the pick. If you're going to take a punter, take an all-time great college one. And I think that he is.
Yeah. Bronco 81. Neil hates a punter, but wanted Jake Moody. What round did Jake Moody get drafted in?
Jake Moody got, was it 5th?
Yeah, I believe so.
3rd.
Wait, 3rd. Okay. Yeah. You wanted Jake Moody. They wanted Torrey Taylor in the 4th.
Okay. Let me know how it works
so
out.
I guess one would have been the smartest move ever, and one is like, off the handle stupid. That's what doesn't make sense to me.
One scores points.
I understand.
The other one punts, and he punted at Iowa. And the reason he was so good is because he was so warm during a game. You don't get as many possessions in an NFL game. You don't get to punt 12 times to get warmed up the way he did at Iowa.
Hey, he did have to punt a lot. However, I know it was the Big Ten West and everything, but since they had no offense, they needed to flip field position and rely on their defense.
All right, what do we got?
Next question of the NFC North nickel package. The Packers took Tulane quarterback Michael Pratt in the 7th round. He started 44 games and had 90 passing touchdowns in his career. What do you make of this move?
Clearly, it's a quarterback controversy. Clearly, the Green Bay Packers are not satisfied with what Jordan Love has been doing, and they're putting pressure on him by saying, "Hey, you don't want to sign this contract." I've heard that Love and the Packers are, quote, far apart on their contract talk.
No deal is imminent.
No deal is imminent. It's never going to happen. And they drafted a quarterback in the 7th round. So I think that tells you, hey, and this Tulane quarterback, didn't he outduel Caleb Williams in a bowl game? Did he not?
He did.
Did he?
Yes.
So clearly something's going on. Where's Adam Schefter? Get him on the phone. Tell him there's something happening in Green Bay right now in the quarter. There's a quarterback controversy with the Packers.
Neil, why do you do this to me? Because I'm not a Jared Goff hater. However, implying that Hendon Hooker being drafted in the 3rd round off of an injury when he would have been a higher round draft pick and the Packers getting a 7th rounder as a flyer is the exact same thing is lunacy. It's the false equivalencies of like this cup and grass. I know it's random, but that's the first thing I could think of of my mind.
Clearly it's a quarterback controversy.
Well, no, it's not.
Real quick, we got to wrap this one up.
All right, final question. The NFL on Fox released their way too early NFL playoff predictions. They had the Lions as the three seed, the Packers as the 5 seed, and the Bears as the 7 seed. Can this division get 3 teams into the playoffs?
No. That is NFL on Fox has been on one. That whole thing too with the Eagles, as the best team in the NFC and all that kind of stuff. Do we just forget what happened last year with the Eagles? You notice we've done that?
Yeah.
Like everyone's just like, I don't even remember what happened with the Eagles.
Epic collapse.
They collapsed last year.
Epic,
and I guess that's not the fabric of the question. I just wanted to bring that to the forefront. But no, this division is not going to get the Bears in the playoffs.
No.
Like, can we slow down a minute, everybody, with the draft thing? Can we pump the brakes for a minute? The Bears in the playoffs.
I mean, you were ready to crown him when Justin Fields was there and Caleb Williams is better, but that's neither here nor there, and we shall see. But I think
No, I wasn't ready to crown them.
Yes, you were.
No, I wasn't. I said they had the building blocks in place. They had a quarterback with an elite trait. That's what I said.
Well, his elite trait is throwing it in the dirt. But and running, but let's move on. Move on from something I created. I think the Rams will be a wild card team. I think the Cowboys will be, and then the Packers. And then you could even say the Bucks or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be fighting for a wild card spot as well. So no, there will be 2 NFC North teams in the playoffs next year.